We're excited to welcome you to this third and final virtual session of New North's Playbook for Recovery. I'm Kathy Seifert, retired from Kimberly-Clark, and I serve on the New North Board and also co-chair the Talent Task Force.
And hi, I'm Mary Goggins, the president of NCAPSIS, also a New North Board, and co-chair of the Talent Task Force.
Today our training camp focuses on education and talent attraction, two very key aspects of our efforts to ensure our regional workforce of today has the skills and training for in-demand careers, and that our businesses and communities can attract the future talent they need to remain competitive in a very global economy.
So when we met last in-person summit back in December 2019, we introduced you to More You in New talent marketing efforts. This change was to better align with the state's marketing efforts and to put emphasis on all the reasons an individual should decide to locate to our region.
New North also created the New North Hires Heroes initiative, along with the Talent Hub, which helps to align job seekers with information on in-demand careers and access to job sites for employers to connect to industry alliances and other ways to attract, retain, and train talent. And lastly, a place for data and business insights, best practices, and innovative ideas.
Wow. So today, we have some new updates and introduce you to Mission Wisconsin and the great work the team is doing to connecting transitioning service members and veterans with career opportunities. You're also going to get to hear firsthand from a veteran who transitioned not only brought her to Wisconsin, but to the New North region as she started her post-military journey.
Awesome. As we continue to move forward from the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, we look forward to advancing new initiatives, expanding our outreach efforts, and continuing to be a leader in piloting various Microsoft upskilling initiatives with Generator and other partners. You should feel very proud that this effort was first implemented right here in our New North region and is now being replicated across the nation.
While much has changed over the last year, New North remains committed to working with partners to develop, recruit, and retain a strong and nimble workforce. We know talent is still critically important to our region's success and remains one of our top priorities.
So thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you in person in June. It is now our pleasure to introduce you to Rebecca DeShane, Vice President of Talent Development of the New North.
Thank you, Kathy and Mary. We very much appreciate your leadership and vision in advancing region-wide talent initiatives. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the state's low unemployment rate and fast pace of economic growth made finding and retaining talent a key priority. COVID-19 forced us to shift our perspective a little bit from not necessarily focusing on attraction, but how do we launch upskilling initiatives for those whose jobs were most negatively impacted by the economic downturn in 2020, as well as expanding opportunities for underserved and underrepresented individuals across the region. We were excited to see community-based programs like Winnebago Catch a Ride, which is working to remove transportation barriers by providing rides for underserved individuals who do not have access to transportation of their own or to public transportation, continue to thrive even during these challenging times. Since it launched 2 years ago, the program has given over 4,000 rides for individuals to over 30 different employers. Other initiatives, like the Generator Upskilling Initiative, you'll hear more about in June, the partnership between UW Green Bay and Interact, Defy Ventures Entrepreneurship Bootcamp, and the Innovation Accelerator for Veterans, are just a few examples of the skilling initiatives our partners are leading across the region. And while we've ramped up these training efforts, we know we still need to attract more people to our area to meet future labor demands. In December of 2020, New North launched its Talent Hub, our online portal designed to connect job seekers, employers, and regional efforts to support talent development, retention, and attraction. In fact, one of the programs you're going to hear about in just a little bit, you'll find under the Attract Talent section that links directly to the New North Hires Heroes Veteran Talent Attraction Initiative. Awesome. Today I am joined by Steve Yonke, founder and CEO of Mission Wisconsin, and Jesse Metko, president of Current Electrical Services here in De Pere, Wisconsin. And we're going to be talking talent and attraction of military veterans and their families to the New North region. And we're excited to get to know a little bit more, Steve, about what you're doing and what Mission Wisconsin is.
Well, Rebecca, I'm really honored to be here, and I'm really thankful for the partnership that Mission Wisconsin has with New North. One of the first ones that we had as a private company coming out of the gate was New North, recognizing not only the need for talent, but the unique skill set that veterans and military families bring, plus the need for them to be not only assisted in finding career opportunities, but letting them know about the career opportunities that exist in the great state of Wisconsin, particularly the New North region. With its dynamic manufacturing engine in the 18 counties in the Northeast region, we know that New North is a place that's growing rapidly, and the only thing holding it back is truly talent. So what we want to do is we want to help those businesses in this region connect in a quality, in a way that lends itself to a quality relationship with their future employee. We often talk about at Mission Wisconsin how we're not just going out there and piling numbers on top of your talent team. What we're doing is we're providing you quality leads to candidates that understand what your company is, what they do, and they want to be in the great state of Wisconsin because of the quality of life, the benefits, and everything that those opportunities provide. So what Mission Wisconsin does is we help consult companies on military hiring best practices, the difference between veteran-friendly and veteran-ready, but more importantly, we help military families transition successfully to the civilian world, providing a high-touch concierge service on behalf of the company that they're going to work for to help them to connect to the great communities that they're going to live in, from primary, secondary, post-secondary education, all the way down to housing, real estate, the local community chamber of commerce, and the veteran benefit officers that help us throughout the state.
So that's a lot, and it's really great that we have someone who is willing to help not only our service members and their families navigate all of those different aspects, but help our businesses understand how to do that. So how do you find these folks? How are you going out and how are you connecting with the military talent and letting them know about these great opportunities that we know we have in the New North, and getting them interested in coming to our region?
It's a great question. One of the things that we know is that the military doesn't, it's not necessarily you can just, cast that net in one place when they get out. When they're active duty, there's 155 different locations that they transition out of around the world. And that's a broad net. So how do you connect with that many locations? And the amount of people transitioning out in a year from every spot can be wildly different, from 250 over the course of a year to 5,000 plus at larger bases. So we leverage relationships that we've built with Hiring Our Heroes, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation, in order to attend their career summits. They talk about the opportunity of transition, not necessarily the sole factor of employment, but they talk about you're going to work anywhere. Where do you really want to live? And we feel that Wisconsin has that value proposition. We know that New North and the region that we're currently in is one of the best, with a 7.5% lower cost of living than the national average. Over 98,000 open positions as we tape this today on Indeed. Companies want the talent and they want the skilled labor, and the military community provides that. They just need to be made aware of those opportunities.
That's fantastic, and we're so grateful that you're able to go out and be our ambassador. So Steve, our good friend Andy, a Marine like yourself, often says that there's two missions in life. One is to serve your country, and the other is to make your country worth serving. And you're doing so much great work with connecting with those who are currently serving. How do we help our businesses here in the state of Wisconsin not just be veteran friendly, not just hire veterans and military spouses because it's the right thing to do, but that we're making them veteran ready, that they are prepared to be engaged and to build those relationships that you were talking about?
Well, one large step is understanding that the transition process is sometimes out of the control of the service member. There's a definitive date that is going to happen. Companies need to understand that when leaving the military, you are going from a place where you are wholly inclusive in the United States military, the best team on the planet, that you are supported every single day, and you are now entering a place where the only person on your team is you and your family. So when you're looking for your next mission in life, what you want to find and identify is, how are you going to be supported? How does that team look? And how does it benefit my family? So it's going from the we to a me dynamic. And that is a hard paradigm shift for a lot of those service members to encounter. So when we help coach them through that transition on behalf of the companies that we work with, we often talk about interview prep, resume writing, all of those things to help them understand that the civilian world is a sea change from where they were at. And then that prepares those companies to also be ready to hire them. And we work with the companies' hiring and talent teams to make sure that they understand those unique challenges that afford great opportunity for them when they employ this skill, this valuable talent pool.
So you're really helping them become veteran ready by adjusting some of their HR practices to account for the different dynamics, right? Transition is fluid, so understanding that by offering that job, we're helping that family have something secure in that knowledge, and then you're helping them take care of the rest. So how do we connect them in with the schools and with housing and with communities? And we have so many in the New North that are just so welcoming and ready for individuals to come and to be supportive of them. So we want to thank you for your service and for your time. And is there something else that we know? We know that you're a great ambassador for the New North region and the great state of Wisconsin. And we have more people around the world that know things about Wisconsin now because of you than ever before. But one of the things that we are truly appreciative at New North is our partnership with you, is the consulting services that you are now offering as well to our veteran-owned and military spouse small businesses here in the region for free. And we're going to be hearing soon from Jesse Metko with Current Electrical Services talking about his partnership with you. But for those who are interested in learning more, can you just share a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, so we feel that if there's any value that we can provide, not only to the veteran community, but also to those veterans and military spouses that own companies in the New North region, we feel that they're going to understand better the unique challenges, but also the talent and the opportunity that hiring a service member provides. So by partnering with New North on this initiative and saying, we want to provide these services for free to allow access and opportunity to those transitioning to connect with quality employers that are veteran donor military spouse owned, we feel like that really takes New North from just being veteran friendly to being veteran ready.
Great, thank you. We appreciate your service and your time and look forward to working with you going forward.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rebecca.
We're joined today by Jesse Metko, President of Current Electrical Services. Jesse, thanks for being here today, and thank you for your service as a veteran. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what Current Electrical Services does here in the New North region?
Absolutely, and I'm absolutely humbled to be here today. I'm the president owner of Current Electrical Services. We're based out of De Pere, Wisconsin. We have about 30 employees made up of electricians, project managers, engineers. Our service area is well aligned with New North.
Awesome. So Jesse, as a veteran, you know firsthand about the skills and the training that you receive when you're in military and in active duty service. Can you tell us a little bit about your work that you're doing with Steve to expand your talent recruitment efforts, to be able to connect into others who are getting that same type of training in the military right now?
Yeah, so me and Steve have built an excellent relationship. Being a veteran and Steve being a veteran, we've been able to recognize values within veterans, the same core values that we're all trained at, basic training, AIT, values such as loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service. These values, at least with Current Electrical Services, are the same values that we hold at our company. And these are the kind of values that we're looking for in our employees.
So it's really great because we know that they're getting those soft skills, right? They're building those competencies in those areas, but they're also gaining a lot of technical skills. And one of the things that I've always been really impressed with when I'm speaking with a service member is their ability to describe some of those technical skills, but how adaptable they are. Is that important in your line of work for your people to be able to problem solve and to be able to just be able to run with it?
Absolutely, especially in the electrical field. the trades just in general. There's a lot of training that's involved, continuous training, and they're very adaptive, flexible, changing conditions.
When we're looking at position descriptions and maybe some technical skills underneath it, has it been your experience that those with probably, with some military experience may not line up on paper one-to-one, but their ability to quickly learn and to adapt and to be able to take what they've learned during the military service translates well, and you're able to help with that training process where it accelerates it?
Absolutely. In the military, you're given a lot of information in a short amount of time, and you learn to process all that information and exert that and execute on that. At current, in the civilian work life, it's the same way. It's very fast-paced. Construction, manufacturing, very fast-paced, and to be able to take a lot of information from different nodes and to apply those to the tasks that you're working on is critical. So
one of the things that we're learning more about is this process of transition and how it can go smoothly for some, and for others it's really quite a challenge. Given your own experiences, what does it mean to you to be able to help other service members be able to navigate some of those hurdles that transition might bring for them? So transitioning into the civilian world can be extremely difficult. One of the things that we do, and we work with Steve, and when we interview our candidates, it's not just a one-off interview process. A typical interview might be your, certain cues, like how they dressed or some of the movements that they have when they come to the interview. With transitioning veterans, we're actually, it's more a phone conversation. What we're trying to do is actually build a relationship over time that gives us a better idea of the capabilities and the type of person that's applying. And at the same time, we tell the story about our company as well, and we try and find a good fit for that. So it's really about matchmaking and making sure that not only are they going to have the talent that comes in for you, but it's going to be the right fit for them as they make that leap from military service into the civilian world and being able to grow from those opportunities. So absolutely, we really appreciate the work that you're doing and the outreach that you are doing to recruit talent to the New North region. And as an investor in the New North, we look forward to working with you to help expand that. If you had one bit of advice that you would share with another business that's considering expanding their military and veteran talent recruitment efforts, what might that be? I'd say the best piece of advice is to take the time to interview the candidate. As I have a dialogue with, with the veteran candidates, what I try and do in the interview as well is share community involvement, and it's not just about the company, but it's about the community that they're going to be a part of, and if it's a good fit for their family, and if it's a good fit for their values. Thank you again for your service and for your work, and we are truly excited to be able to partner with you. As you're looking at your own talent recruitment and your HR best practices, one of the things that we are excited to do at New North is really to help expand that knowledge and the awareness of what does it mean to be able to go from being veteran friendly to veteran ready. So we'll be sharing more information in the months ahead on some of those HR best practices and different ways that your company can accelerate and advance your own recruitment in the military space, military spouses and our veterans. And Steve has contact information. Steve's contact information is available for you to learn more about what his services are and how he's connecting with transitioning service members. Please check out missionwisconsin.com. Darlene, thank you so much for joining us today to share your experience as a transitioning service member who was looking for options and was able to identify a career opportunity here in the New North region at Oshkosh Corporation. And just want to ask you if you could share a little bit about yourself, what your background is, what branch of service you served in, and then we'll just have a quick conversation.
Yeah, thanks for interviewing me and thinking of me, Rebecca. I'm originally from Illinois, born and raised there. And I went to the Coast Guard Academy in Connecticut after high school. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to get into, so decided, researched a little bit into the different service academies, the different branches of the U.S. military. I just really like the life-saving mission of the Coast Guard, and that it's here protecting the homeland. So really happy with that decision. Now looking back, I'm pretty proud of my 18-year-old self for making that decision. So I went to the Coast Guard Academy for 4 years. I swam while I was there. I was really involved with the Asian Pacific American Council. Graduated with my degree in marine and environmental science.
Okay.
So nothing to do with what I'm doing now, but
That's all right.
graduated with a degree in marine and environmental science, received my commission, and then I was stationed in Hawaii for my first 2 years in the Coast Guard. So I was on board the Coast Guard cutter Sherman. It's a larger ship. We did a lot of patrols in the Eastern Pacific Ocean, got to travel the world, loved it, loved the people I met, loved living in Hawaii. And then after I was in Hawaii for 2 years, then I transitioned to Houston, Texas at Vessel Traffic Service, Houston Galveston. And while I was there, I served my first 2 years as a watch center supervisor. And really, there are a lot of positions in the Coast Guard that are 24/7, that 12-hour shift you'll see. But the job of VTS, how I like to describe it to people, is they're air traffic controllers, but for the Houston Ship Channel. I served as a watch floor supervisor, so supervising a team of anywhere from 8 to 12 people.
Okay.
And then my last year I fleeted up. I made lieutenant in the Coast Guard.
What does fleeted up mean?
Oh yes, fleeted up. So I got promoted to lieutenant.
Okay.
So I was a lieutenant junior grade my first 2 years. Was promoted to lieutenant and then fleeted up into the operations officer position. So just a higher level leadership position. So instead of kind of that duty rotation and those 12-hour shifts, I then was that first level supervisor for the entire department. So I did a lot of liaison work with the Port of Houston, the NOAA services, the local county Houston sheriffs, and then just more leadership.
So one of the things that I've learned over time, especially working with our service members, the transitioning service members, is you gain so many different skills throughout your time in service. So even within this short period of time you were discussing with 4 or 5 years,
Yep.
It sounds like you had a lot of different roles, and not just roles where you were doing the work, but roles where you had those opportunities to gain leadership skills. How have you been able to translate that now that you have transitioned into a civilian work environment completely different from where you were in the service?
Yes. I feel like every military member exceeds at adaptability. I think transitioning to the corporate world, the civilian world, I think the biggest thing is just taking challenges head on, being open. I feel like as a service member and someone new to the organization, you bring kind of an outsider look and you get to ask questions. Oh, how is this done? Oh, why do we do it this way? And it makes the team take a step back and say, I don't know, why do we do it that way? Is that the best way to do it? But I just think the biggest thing I really brought was that adaptability, because really my degree has nothing to do with what I'm doing now. My military service as like operations and leadership has nothing to do with what I'm doing now, but just like my passion, my drive and determination to want to learn more, which I think a lot of service members have, and that adaptability to change, learn on the spot, and kind of just grow and that.
Be able to overcome challenges and
Yes.
to move forward. So
Yes.
one thing I was really interested in learning more about is how did you come to the decision as you were getting ready to leave service that you participated in the Hiring Our Heroes Corporate Fellowship Program?
Yes.
How did you decide that seems like a good way to help me make that transition, and what has been
Yeah.
your experience with that
Yes.
program?
I had an amazing experience with Hiring Our Heroes. I feel like it's a win-win because you automatically get connected to a pre-screened group of companies, and it gets your resume out there. It's a chance to network with other service members. So it's like, why not use Hiring Our Heroes when you're transitioning versus going in blindly, especially for me, since I was moving from Texas, which was my last duty station, to Wisconsin, where I really didn't have a network here. So it just seemed like the best fit for me. And then it really just connected me with all the companies that were veteran friendly, willing to hire someone based on their transferable skills.
You didn't really have a network here in Wisconsin, but you were able to get plugged into one, and you were able to connect with Mission Wisconsin. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with Mission Wisconsin and what you found to be so helpful about that?
Yes. So Mission Wisconsin, Steve Yankee, huge contributor to my transition. Just quick thank you to Steve for all the help he did. I really connected with him because my Hiring Our Heroes program manager knew he was very familiar with Wisconsin. From my first conversation, he was just like, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I think he saw potential in me. So from there, we just kind of had weekly conversations. We talked about where I was in the transition process. He helped get my resume out to different companies. He helped talk to me about different companies in Wisconsin to see what I would be interested in, where he thought I would be a good fit. So it really just helped with networking because I'm originally from Illinois. I was moving from Texas, kind of decided on Wisconsin. So I didn't have a network here. I didn't have family here, didn't really know much about Wisconsin, was kind of going into it blindly. So having him here with his knowledge and being able to have him share that with me was just invaluable. And it really is ultimately what brought me to Oshkosh Corporation.
Can you describe then, as you were talking with Oshkosh, kind of what set them apart from some of the other companies that you were considering as well?
Yeah, great. So I was originally targeting a lot of companies in the Milwaukee area. I still wanted to be a little bit closer to my family in Illinois, but just loved everything that Wisconsin offered. I think we'll get more into that a little bit later, so I won't go into too much of that. So I was targeting companies in Milwaukee, talking to a few of them, and then Oshkosh Corporation reaches out to me, and they say, Darlene, we'd love to have a conversation. We like what we see on the resume. And I was talking with Steve. I was like, I don't know if I want to move this far north. I was like, I don't even know what's up there. Am I going to like it? And he was really the one that said, Darlene, Oshkosh Corporation is a really great company, has a really just good presence here and a good reputation. So I was like, okay, I'm open to it. So I had my first conversation with Oshkosh, and they asked me what I was interested in, and I kind of gave them the typical like transitioning military. I'm junior officer, you know, operations, logistics, project management, supply chain. I was like, I want all, whatever you can give me, I'll take. And I think I was talking to Carrie Rokel, who's our VP of Talent and Culture, and she was like, but I see here on your resume you have a lot of community service in like the Coast Guard Academy's Minority Outreach Team, the Boys and Girls Club, like volunteering at local schools and communities from where you're from or wherever you were stationed. So tell me a little bit about that. So I was just starting to talk, and she could just tell I was so passionate about that. So she was like, well, what do you think about working on like our talent acquisition team, like kind of helping drive those diversity and inclusion initiatives, or working with those early talent, which is a lot of the work I do now, and those students. And I was like, that sounds amazing. No one said I could do something like that. Like, I don't think that's a very common field for military members to go into. So for them to take the time to figure out what I was passionate about and what my interests were just really stood out to me. So after that, I was like, wow, I think even though it's farther north than I want to go, I have to take this opportunity, and I'm just so happy I did.
Well, we're glad to have you here in the region. And what I heard you say really is Oshkosh Corporation took the time to not only understand your skills, but your passions and how they could pull those two together and create a new opportunity you didn't even think about before, and now you don't probably want to turn back from it. So we're a little bit further north than you expected, but the New North region is north of what you expect. So just curious if you could share with us a little bit about, since you've been here has it been almost a year? Not quite a year?
It'll be a year in September.
A year in September. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your kind of first experiences in this region and what you love most about it and what you're hoping to maybe explore a little bit further?
Yes, absolutely. So I originally was targeting Wisconsin, just love the outdoors. There's a little bit more of that than in Illinois, where my family's from.
So what part of Illinois are you from?
I'm from Southern Illinois,
okay.
So Carbondale, Illinois, technically. I have some family in Chicago, so I would be open to there, but just the cost of living is much cheaper in Wisconsin. There's more to do outside, which is really important for my husband and I. And it's just a little bit quieter, and there's things to do outside. So all of that really attracted us here. It's a safe community too. So what I'm happy now that I'm here, like after discovering a little bit more about the area, is people are just really friendly, welcoming. The first time it snowed here, it snowed like 2 feet, our neighbors plowed our driveway for us with their little electric blower because we were out there shoveling old school. So everyone's really friendly, and we're figuring out more things to do outside, and we just absolutely love that coming from Houston, which is like a major city. And
So can you tell us a little bit as well, right from the importance behind what Oshkosh is doing from an inclusion and a diversity standpoint? How do you see that, and have you been able to not only do that within your work and your career, but have you been able to then out in the community get connected with some of the programs that are going on to really explore diversity and help our communities make sure that we're welcoming to everybody?
yeah, this is an area I'm so passionate about, and I'm lucky that the work I get to do every day has an influence on that. As a member of talent acquisition here, I get to connect with people who are interested in Oshkosh, bring them to the area. I do a lot of work for our early talent programs, our internship program, but I also do a lot of diversity inclusion framework. So that's something that our board and our leadership says we can and should do better, and we want to make the framework for that. So I get to help build that.
How do you see where you're going to be able to not only make an impact here within Oshkosh Corp, but how do you see that playing out to being able to make an impact within our community?
Yeah. I think mentorship is really big for me, from just my experience in the military and then my experience transitioning too. And I feel like, if anything, hopefully I can provide that mentorship to either young adults here in the community or young students, or transitioning veterans, or just maybe even people looking to go into the military, and kind of helping them guide them in that direction. We have a really great veteran community. We have what's called the Oshkosh Corporation Military Network here. So I've been connected formally with actually my mentor, who is also in HR, also a female veteran. So just lots of great opportunity for networking connections, and great veteran community in Oshkosh Corporation.
It is. If you had any advice that you would share with others, especially those in the transitioning military space, about why Wisconsin and what are the resources here in the state to help them kind of make that leap and be able to get connected, what advice would you give to another service member who is reaching that point where they need to transition into the civilian world?
Yeah. After being here in Wisconsin, they are just so veteran friendly, and just the community is so welcoming. I was immediately connected with Steve from Mission, Wisconsin. Once I got here, I was connected with the local veteran county service office to help me with my transition and some of the stuff going through the VA, which is a really big part of a veteran's transition. After you've lived here for 2 years, I'm eligible, and my husband, and when we have kids, they'd be eligible for free education at any Wisconsin public school. So that's just huge, knowing that my service, like my contribution to my family, is I can give a free education through the state of Wisconsin, because that's something they offer all their veterans. So I think that's a huge win. I did not know that originally coming to Wisconsin, but when I found that out, I was like, awesome, my kids are going to school in Wisconsin, nowhere else. So
Wisconsin leads the way with the number of benefits that are available to veterans. We have 23 of 26 nationally recognized state-offered benefits within available here. And we have a county veteran service officer in each of our 72 counties, in addition to 11 tribal county veteran service officers, specifically to help Indigenous veterans make sure that they have those connections. So it's really one of those hidden benefits, but it's not hidden. But being able to share that message, and I'm so glad that you brought it up, right? So more people are aware of, not only are you going to meet great people and have opportunities for great careers, but we also value your service, and we have benefits in place to help you make those transitions. I've asked you a lot of questions. If there is anything else that you would like to be able to share, either about your experience in the military and your transition. I'm super impressed with you for choosing to go to the academy. It is a difficult lift to get into the academies. So congratulations to you and making that choice and for serving our country. But if there's anything else that we didn't cover that you want to just be able to share. feel free to take the
Yeah.
time.
This is just kind of an add-on to your last question, like if I could share anything with the
Yeah.
transitioning veteran community. I think it would just be open-minded, don't say no to those conversations. If I had said no to Oshkosh Corporation because it was too far north, I wouldn't be where I am and doing what I love. So just be open, don't be afraid to take a risk, take that chance, and know that there are companies out there who value your skills, your transferable skills, the skills you've learned in the military. So you have so many services out there, so that's just the only other thing I wanted to add.
What advice would you give to companies who are looking to expand their talent recruitment efforts and would like to increase their engagement with the military and veteran community? What advice would you give to companies?
Yeah, I would say veterans offer so many skills to the table. They just bring so much value and experience. The military is one of the most diverse companies in the US, so they have that open-mindedness. The adaptability is huge, and just if you're willing to take a risk, you won't be disappointed. That's just, at the end of the day, I think any company who takes a risk and hires that veteran member is going to be very surprised with how quickly they learn and how they're able to adapt easily and bring what they've learned to the table and give a new insight and new value to their company.
Great. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time today.
Thanks, Rebecca, for having me.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bob D. Cook. I'm the co-chairman of the Marketing and Branding Task Force. I'm also a board member of New North and the past president of the Bolt Company. Been involved in New North from the very beginning. It's a great organization. So in addition to the wonderful staff we have with New North, we have an incredible number of volunteers on the various committees, and we're so grateful for the work that they do. The Marketing and Branding Committee is no exception to that idea, where marketing branding professionals come from many companies around the region. They contribute their time, they volunteer, and they bring such unique and creative perspectives to the marketing program for New North. We're so incredibly grateful to have them, and their contributions are important, and we're so incredibly grateful for the companies allowing them to spend their time in this volunteer role. You heard Mary and Kathy talk about the More You in New campaign, and I want to explain that a little more. That campaign came out of work that was done with the Marketing and Branding Committee. The strategy behind this campaign was to help audiences see themselves in the New North, whether those audiences were people in the region, people in the state, or outside the state. We wanted to see them see themselves in the New North. We have many career opportunities in diverse industries in the New North. We have 4 wonderful seasons. We have numerous recreational and cultural activities. There's just more of what you want if you're looking for something in New North. Wisconsin is more you in new. If you look at our website, we showcase a number of recruitment initiatives, and you can find videos and other marketing material on the website. You can use that to co-brand with your own internal talent marketing initiatives, and you can use it to promote talent recruitment for your organizations. If you need help with that, please reach out to Renee Torzala, New North's Vice President of Marketing and Investor Relations, to assist you. Thank you for sharing your stories. If you have stories about the region that you want to have us capture, please reach out to Renee. We're happy to capture them and share them with the audiences. Now I'm pleased to show our new talent recruitment video featuring Sachin Shevram and his family, as well as a few spotlights from the New Manufacturing Alliance 2021 All-Stars videos.
Hi, my name is Sachin Shivram, and I'm Chief Executive Officer at Wisconsin Aluminum Foundry. We are a 112-year-old manufacturer here in Manitowoc, and we make aluminum castings. We grew up there on the north side of Milwaukee. I went away for college. I went to Harvard, then went to grad school in England, and then I worked in Chicago for a little bit of time in business, And then went back to school, went to law school at Yale. I read a book, it was a novel, written in the 40s about a group of industrialists. And one of them was a person who ran a steel mill. And I read that book and I was in law school and just not feeling the concept of being a lawyer, and I was just inspired to work in the metals industry. We moved on to Mexico. I also worked in Brazil, but all the way, was really just looking for the right opportunity to come back to Wisconsin. Yeah, thinking back to 5 years ago when we lived here, it shocks me how little I knew about the area. In fact, having growing up in Wisconsin, I knew this was the cultural environment I wanted to be in. But only when we moved here did we truly understand what a wonderful place this place is to live.
So we have two sons, Bodhan and Vidar. Bodhan turns 8 today and Vidar is 3.
We live in a community of about 30,000 people. Our kids go to school here and they develop friendships, and then they're walking up to the playground and they spot somebody they know, and then they just run over and they're playing, and it feels like a kind of a seamless existence, which I just love. I would never have imagined that the Green Bay area is a diverse community. I was prepared to not have that in my life, in our lives. Yet we found that it's actually a strength of this place, strong, diverse communities. A second thing that I did not imagine was the strong job market. One of my hesitations to come here was I thought, I'm going to work someplace and that's probably where I'm going to be for a long time, because there won't be many other opportunities to do interesting things because the economy is small. That was my perception. When I came here, it was just an overwhelming amount of opportunities, of fascinating businesses, and especially for a young person looking to build a career, I realized, wow, this place is pretty amazing.
I knew Wisconsin only to the extent of Milwaukee. I'd never been to Northeast Wisconsin, didn't really know what to expect. And then we came here. It's definitely smaller than some of the other places we've lived in, but life is nice, right? We have a beautiful house, a great neighborhood. People are very, very nice. Schools are great. Life is comfortable. It's a great life.
Here at Fink and Terry Ace Marine, we are an aluminum fabricator which builds structural modules for military combat. Our government put the trust in us to take care of these ships and weld them completely and thoroughly, that way that they coast through sea to sea and get to destinations they're trying to get to. There are parts of the Navy ship, which is the top of the Navy vessel, that we build, which is all aluminum, which is our other sister company builds the steel part, which is from the deck down. So today, I'm doing fillet welds, basically 1F and 3F in the vertical position and flat. I've been welding 7 years, going on 8, starting 2021. Welding is a form of art. You're basically interpreting blueprints and bringing something that you're given on a piece of paper by an engineer, and you're expected to bring it to fruition with your skills, which basically takes fabrication and welding to do all these things. There's all different processes, as I stated before, between MIG, TIG, stick, pipe welding, 6G, 1F, 1 through 4F, 1 through 4G. So there's a lot of things that come to mind with variables when it comes to welding. Communication is a key part. You're dealing with other guys who you have to work with on a daily basis, and shipyards are normally big with a lot of things going on in one place. So you have to communicate with others to figure out what's going on, to help one another. To become a welder, I would recommend that you take a trade course, whether it's a few months long, 6 months to a year long. There are a lot of career opportunities. There's longevity in it. It gets you lots of money, so it depends on where you take it. Life is basically what you make it. The pressure's on us to get these boats done correctly in the right way. That way we transport our military to where they need to be, which for me feels like we make a difference, because someone's depending on you.
I work for Laminations Great Northern. They're a specialty group within Great Northern that produces edge protecting packaging solutions. So I'm a mechanical engineer. We make products like V-board, it's called, and it protects edges of things that get packaged or stored. So things that get shipped like windows and doors has protective edge packaging on it as it's shipped, and we produce that. Technologies I work heavily with computers. I do 2D and 3D CAD design. I use software for finite element analysis for doing structural design of machine components. I work with mechanical, fluid, thermal, electrical systems on machines, interface with PLCs and automatic controls and machine functions and automation. So my father works within the company. He's been with them for 42 years. In their special projects group, basically as an engineer, and just been inspired by him along the way, and when an opportunity opened up, I joined the company. The actual displacement on the product? Northeast Wisconsin is a great place to live. There's a lot of rural areas to enjoy, but there's also a lot of industry that supports great careers, but also time to have fun and do activities outdoors like hunting and fishing. So most fulfilling experiences is seeing a problem get solved from concept to the full solution being built and integrated, and seeing that machine do what I expected it to do. Laminations Great Northern is a great company to work for. They really value their employees and build them up and push them to do the best they can and work with them and develop their employees. So it's a great place to work. Laminations Great Northern's vision is to help their employees grow through personal growth and a shared future, and their mission is to help their customers win by doing what others can't or won't.
I work at Plexus. I'm the quality supervisor. That's a somewhat more recent role for me, but I've been a quality engineer there for about 3 years. So ultimately my responsibility is to make sure that the product we're producing conforms to all quality requirements, be that requirements from the customer as well as industry, regulatory type requirements. At Plexus, we produce products in a lot of different industries, including things like life sciences, medical devices, as well as defense and industrial and commercial communications, that kind of thing. So really we make products that touch a lot of different aspects of life. I think that it's imperative, especially from the quality side of things, that we aren't letting defects get out into products like that. I mean, obviously, especially in fields of defense and medicine, you need the products that are being used to be, perfect. So it's really important, and we do definitely make an impact on people. We kind of took a chance and just moved out here away from our families, but it really has paid off. We really do like it here. We like just how many ways there are to get outdoors and just the way the people are in the communities. It's very similar to our life back home, but it presents some unique Wisconsin elements that we enjoy as well. What's most fulfilling for me is kind of just that team culture. When you are able to identify a solution, come together, meet that deadline, it is really satisfying as a group to know the role you played in it, and then kind of the lessons learned that can help, proactively prevent that from happening again. Plexus Corporation's motto is, "We'll help you create the products to build a better world." And I really do think we're able to achieve that in all of those industries that we touch.
As a region, if we step back, we know that digital careers cut across every industry sector. There's not just one, narrow scope that you're going to need digital careers, whether in healthcare, advanced manufacturing, even construction, retail, anything that you want to pursue, there's going to be a digital component to it. And we also know that we have a gap in workforce. It's one of the #1 areas that we know that our industries are looking to fill. So how do we help our industries connect with talent? Youth apprenticeship is a great opportunity.
We do have a few forward-thinking companies in the region, Secura, Heartland Business Systems, to name a couple of them, who are hiring those high school students. And I'd love to encourage more of our local companies to provide those opportunities for our students.
Chances are you already have an internship program. So you can think about youth apprenticeship as internship light, right? There's some specifics that go with the youth apprenticeship models and that the state requires us to have on our checklist. But from that perspective, if you already have an internship program where you're bringing in college students and helping them get acclimated and familiar with career opportunities, then this is just like an internship with high school students. So if you already have the internship model, you can quickly add this to your repertoire of talent recruitment.
We'd love to see more professionals getting involved with our local computer science programs and area schools. And because digital careers are not well understood, and this of course then has a downstream impact on the amount of talent we're able to hire. So if you are an IT professional or a digital professional, we encourage you to get involved with your local school districts.
There's opportunities that you never know a student's going to bring in. In addition to building that pipeline, right, you're investing into an individual and helping them build and mentor them to build those skills out. But as part of your recruitment process, right, so when you think about where am I investing my dollars within a talent recruitment sphere, we know you can do that with colleges. We know that you can do that, externally where you're hunting for people to transition into your workforce. But you can also invest those dollars then into a program that is vetted through the state of Wisconsin, that has parameters that's going to help you quickly bring that into your organization. And by providing those resources and that mentor, you're building that talent pipeline, you're building that brand recognition, and it's bringing a diverse voice, right? You're bringing a different set of eyes, a different viewpoint to your organization that's going to help you take a step back and say, oh, we never thought about it like that. Let's go ahead and give it a try.
Hi, my name is Manny Vasquez, Vice President at Pfefferly Companies, a commercial real estate firm headquartered in Northeast Wisconsin and a proud investor and partner of the New North. As we all know, COVID-19 has impacted our local, national, and global economy in a variety of ways. And even though we're on our way to economic recovery, we're still seeing the effects of the downturn. At the national level, 8.4 million jobs have not returned, and 4 million workers have dropped out of the labor force altogether. In Wisconsin, the unemployment rate in March was 3.8% compared to 6% nationwide. In fact, Wisconsin's job loss during the pandemic was lower than the national rate in all 4 of our neighboring states, which shows the resiliency of our economy and workforce, but also creates challenges for those of us looking to hire. Some of the hardest hit industries and therefore real estate segments have been hospitality, retail, and restaurants. But in the past couple of months, there seems to be light at the end of the tunnel. The vaccine rollout is certainly a factor. Federal stimulus funding is also helping to boost incomes, which in turn is boosting retail sales. National retail sales jumped almost 10% in March over the prior months. Sales rose across all major categories of retailers, and all have recovered to their pre-pandemic levels, except for bars and restaurants. Still, that category grew by more than 13% in March, as more people were willing and able to go out to eat. As bars, restaurants, and retailers across the state and our region reopened their doors, they're once again struggling to find labor. So access to workers will be critical as the service and retail industries try to bounce back. Another real estate segment that has been impacted by COVID-19 is the office market. The office vacancy rate in Northeast Wisconsin today is around 8.5% compared to the 5-year average of 6%. Office net absorption, the difference between demand and supply, was a negative 380,000 square feet compared to the 5-year average of a positive 125,000 square feet. Leasing activity is down, sublet space is up, and the vast majority of office users are evaluating their space needs post-COVID. However, it's important to remember that the trend in favor of remote work and more flexibility was growing before the pandemic. Unlike larger metro areas around the country, where the cost of real estate is much higher and commute times much longer, most companies in our area are slowly getting back to the office. Some are reducing their footprint as more employees choose to work remotely, but the vast majority still see the value in having a physical space. Factors such as collaboration, productivity, company culture, and work-life balance, which many of us consider priorities, will continue to be important long-term. Locally, dozens of companies from insurance to accounting, banking, construction, manufacturing, and others are investing in new offices, from ground-up construction to buying existing property to remodeling outdated space and infusing more technology. And this beautiful building we're in today is proof of that. Employers aren't the only ones who see the value of the office. According to a workplace survey conducted by Gensler, 29% of office workers in the U.S. prefer to work full-time in the office, and 52% prefer a hybrid work model. The survey, as well as our own clients' feedback, show that most people still prefer to work from the office for the majority of the work week, but they'll bring new expectations around flexibility, privacy, and space sharing with them as they return. Only 19% of the 5,500 professionals from 50 companies surveyed prefer to work at home full-time. According to the data, workers choose the office to be productive and home for convenience and safety. A hybrid work model helps to balance both. The study also shows that 46% prefer an open office environment and 47% prefer a private environment. This means that open, collaborative spaces that many companies were moving towards before the pandemic are probably not going away altogether. The office will probably look and feel differently in the future. Plexiglass, higher cubicle walls, masks, sanitation stations, limited capacity in conference rooms and common areas are probably going to remain in place for some time. But so will the importance of coming together as a team. While people's work preferences may vary, what we do know is that access to labor continues to be the biggest challenge for companies across the board. So creating modern, inviting, engaging, and efficient office environments can play a critical role in companies' ability to recruit and retain top talent. As our local economy recovers from this massive economic hit and unemployment reaches pre-pandemic levels, it's critical that we continue to support workforce development strategies, both traditional as well as new programs, some of which you heard about today. On behalf of Pfefferly, we wish you and yours a healthy and prosperous 2021. Thank you.
So here we are wrapping up. We know that there is so much more going on in our region, and this was just a small snippet of the great work underway by our local partners and stakeholders. We applaud you for the work that you're doing and look forward to our future opportunities to strengthen our partnerships. Together, we will continue to align our strategic efforts to ensure the New North region is best positioned to be a catalyst for economic prosperity for all through our collaborative efforts. So what's next? Well, we hope that you've enjoyed our 3 virtual pregame training camps leading up to our main event on June 10th as the Playbook for Recovery continues live at Lambeau Field. We'll be featuring our offense, which best describes a company that is growing. This will be provided by Kim Bassett, President and CEO of Bassick Mechanicals. Next up, Dr. Andrabi, President and CEO of ThedaCare, will give his perspective on defense, representing an industry that has risen to the challenges of caring for our COVID-19 patients. Michelle Schuler of TechSpark Wisconsin at Microsoft and Joe Kurgis of Generator will focus on special teams as they discuss and share the outcomes of the Generator Upskilling Initiative piloted here in the New North region. Our keynote, Tim Moore, is the 3-time Emmy Award-winning director. His message to us will be a reflection on the resiliency of our region during the pandemic, the power of social impact, and the inspirational messages of not giving up. As a curiously driven entrepreneur, Tim has become a leading expert in purpose-driven marketing over the last decade and has developed emotionally compelling campaigns for brands all over the world. You will all receive a copy of his book, Sold on Purpose, Compliments of NWTC and Performa. And we're going to keep you in suspense to announce the Workplace Excellence Award winner, presented by Right Management. And what better way to wrap up a summit at Lambeau Field than with a high school drumline competition? So stay tuned. That brings this session to a close, but you will not want to miss out on the virtual networking that immediately follows. We want to thank Insight Publications for providing this forum for all 3 sessions through their Meet Away platform. Just click on the link that was provided to you earlier to continue the dialogue. Our thanks to Coalesce for this production and Image Studios for their technical support of today's event.
You know, the benefit of attending a New North event, especially in person, is the networking with other attendees. So it's an honor for Insight to partner with New North to provide the Insight Meet Away networking portion of today's event. All attendees are welcome to join by using the link in the chat or the link that was emailed to you this morning. Even if you haven't gone in already to set up your attendee profile or your networking preferences, that's okay. It can be done quickly, easily. Just follow the prompts and start matching with others through a series of one-on-one video calls. So use the link with your laptop or desktop. Enjoy the virtual networking to close out today's event. I look forward to seeing you there.